Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the open book. This is your host, Lakeisha, and I hope everyone had a fabulous Friday. Y'all, we are headed into the weekend, and I am so excited. Look, I can finally go tomorrow and get some birthday cake. Okay, I didn't get a chance last weekend because as soon as we got there, the wind was so strong until the door of the location came off of the top hinge, and the owner, the only way that she could keep the door closed because of the wind was to lock it. And so they had to temporarily close for the day. But I am going back on tomorrow. So I am so excited. Look, if you would like to sow a seed towards the birthday cake, go ahead and hit up your girl's Cash App, which is in the chat or scrolling on the screen. Okay, let me say that this live, okay, is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is covered under the Fair Use Act. Information shared is alleged and our opinions as we react to various topics and people. Now, y'all, I really wanted to touch on this topic. As you all may know or not, I am a new subscriber to the Peach Mcintyre channel. And I came to really get to know of her because I was covering BB, which is, the Bree, former Mrs. LaTruth pregnancy situation. And so a lot of people were comparing her situation to Peach. And I said, well, who is Peach? Let me go and check out Peach. And I've been going through, some of her videos and just kind of watching her journey. She just recently had twin babies. And so now she's able to vlog about her experience and share that with her audience and her subscribers and supporters. And so one particular video I was watching really touched my heart. And it was a topic that I really feel that we don't talk enough about, which is about our inner child. And Peach, it seems as though the part that I've seen of her so far is she seems very transparent, and opens up about a variety of topics about her children, this experience with having babies in the NICU, her twins, then her situation with her mom, which is one part of the video that we're going to watch a snippet of that video. But I remember as a child, my brother and I, we are 8 years apart. And I'll never forget, my brother used to spend a lot of time playing with his different toys. He particularly liked the little army man and so forth. And I remember my brother is almost like me in the sense of we like to spend time by ourselves. We're kind of introverts. And by us having like that age gap, he spent a lot of time in his bedroom playing with his toys and so forth. And so at some point, my mom and my stepfather, they were like, he need to quit playing with those toys. He getting older. But as I look at him now as an adult, he is able to connect and relate to children as far as the relationship in getting them to behave. Like he goes to their level, talks to them. He loves to have fun. He's a comedian. And it allowed him that space. Whereas nowadays, you see a lot of kids growing up too fast. They put the toys away too soon and start picking up other things. Okay. YouTube, going out, doing all types of stuff in these schools, drugs, alcohol, like other stuff. And when I see little kids, even when I was in the classroom and had my own classes, I would speak to the kids and say, stay children for as long as you can. Don't rush that part of your life. And I think even in this snippet that we're going to watch, Peach brought up a very good fact that between when you were born and the year 8 are very critical parts of a child's life. You could either prepare them and build like a strong foundation, or it can kind of who set the tone for a hard adult life based off of the things that they may endure. Now, focusing on that inner child portion, I want us to kind of get into that. But before we begin, I want to give a shout out to everyone here in the chat. Special shout out to the moderators that are here in the chat and also all members. Thank you all so, so much for your support. All right, so let's get into it. And I'll periodically stop the video so that we can chat about a couple of things.
Because I seen a video today that triggered me. You guys may have seen my response to it. Basically, it was a video of a mom and her two pretty daughters, and they had on pink pajamas. And the mom caption was basically saying how her daughters don't have to get a job at 15. All they got to do is let her make the money and look pretty or whatever. And my inner child just went to weeping. I'm talking about gushes of tears. And then even in the video that I edited, it was triggering for me because it was the scene where I was getting off the interstate and I was telling people like, oh, I used to work at that KFC and how my husband used to have to pick me up. At that time, I was 17. I had got pregnant with McKay and stuff, a senior in high school. But my mom literally would not pick me up from work ever. I even remember and I'm getting emotional about it. I remember a time where me and Wood had broken up. My husband and I was 17, he was 19, but we had broken up. So of course he's not gonna pick me up from work. And I called my mama and I asked my mama to come get me. And she said no. So then I had to have this other boy that I knew that I talked to pick me up from work. And then the next night, he didn't pick me up from work. He had got into some trouble and couldn't come get me. And then so happened Wood walked in and he took me home. But my mama never took me home from work. But when I would get paid, she would literally, my brother Edward would literally come to KFC and she would get some of my money from my check, like $300. And I already wasn't making much money. So it's
wow. So that part in itself, you can tell that even speaking of this memory, Peach is struggling through that. Certain things can trigger. Ooh, it's hard for me to say that word. Trigger us, and it causes us to go back in time. And our healed versus our unhealed inner child, or the experiences that we have had, may affect who we are as adults. And so her going back, really thinking about this, really is going to help her towards her journey, her healing journey. And so this particular moment, you can tell, really was a critical part. And I'm just shocked that her mom took her money like that. Now, I do see teaching responsibility, because if you're growing and you're trying to teach your child, depending on their age, about what real life is going to be about. When you work somewhere, you may have several bills. Because my mom even did that at one point. I wasn't making a whole lot, but she didn't require me to give her a whole lot. She was trying to teach me that about tithing, giving, and also a little bill. Okay, you stand here, you're working. Let's get you into the habit of, you have one bill you can help with, just to kind of get you there, because you don't want to shock her where you are growing up thinking, oh, I work and I get to keep all of my money. No, when you're an adult, you're going to have rent or a mortgage, car payment, insurance, electricity, gas, water, all of that. And so I kind of see maybe, her mom was like, look, you make some money, give me some of that because you live with me, blah, 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 blah. But she said she was already not making a whole lot of money, but then couldn't even come and pick her up. That was sad.
like my inner child is just fragile right now, and I want to soothe her. And so I was looking at videos on how to heal my inner child today. And it was just one video that stuck out stating just do the things that your inner child liked when you were young.
What did your inner child like? Have you ever just thought, I know we get busy with life, we get older, we're growing, but I don't think we sit and really think about the inner child. Maybe some things that we feel like we missed out on. Maybe something traumatic happened that we try to push down below where we don't think about it and we hope that one day it doesn't rise back up. Just different things. I know that as a child, and I'll share this experience. I remember we used to have those book covers, and I used to write love letters to God on my book covers. I was close to God. I really was and still is today, but I had to go through a process after this moment. So I used to write on my book covers like, God, I love you. Thank you for loving me. And all that, just different things, just really into God. And so I remember, and I think this was probably about fourth or fifth grade. I remember leaving my books down. I went through the lunch line, and when I came back, a couple of students, I guess, had read my book cover and started laughing at me. And y'all, it really broke my heart. I quit doing it. I'm being transparent and honest. I quit writing on my book covers those messages to God. And throughout life, I think that kind of shut me down where I wasn't just talking about God as much until later on in life. I was like, I don't care who says anything. I'm not going to ever feel ashamed of God or, try to dilute that part of my life because I should say he's the reason that I am who I am. There are a lot of things that you may have gone through in your childhood that affect you as an adult or that have impacted the decisions that you made, or also um, will create who you are as a parent to your own children. Sometimes we want to live through our children because there are some things we feel like we missed out in our childhood, missed out on. And that can be a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing because you don't want to get to the point where you are living through your children but not giving them the space to make their own choices and decisions. For example, if you wanted to be a dancer and your daughter, you have a daughter and you're like, you should do dance, you should do dance, and your daughter's like, I don't know, no, I'll pay for it, you should do dance. But then your daughter tries it out and she doesn't like it. Some parents will force their children to do it because that's what they wanted to do. Whereas, if it's something you wanted to do and your child does not want to do that, then give them the space to choose what it is that they are attracted to doing. And so that can have an impact on us as well when we think about that inner child. Think of that, write that down. What is something that my inner child likes to do? I love to color, okay? Journaling as a child. I love playing with my Barbie dolls and the dream house, okay? Those are some things I really, really, we used to play outdoor games. And I don't know if you've had a sensation because like a lot of the neighborhood kids, we would get outside and we would just play kickball and things like that. Anytime I see children playing kickball or outside games, it takes me back to my inner child. So there are things that may trigger us to reflect that could be good memories or bad memories.
What was it that you like to do? And of course, I like to journal. I do have my journal with me today. I haven't written in it. And then another thing I like to do was play with dolls. And I'll never forget when I was 12 years old, my mama literally came in my room. I was sitting on the floor playing with my baby dolls. And she was like, you too big to be playing with dolls. You act like you fucking retarded. You a stupid ass. You need to have a fucking boyfriend. And she took all my dolls and threw them in the garbage. And it's like those experiences in the inside, it hurt, you know? And so for me right now, when I finish doing this, I will be going to buy me some dolls. I'm gonna buy me some Barbies. And I'm just gonna sit and I'm gonna play with my Barbies on my balcony when all my kids go to sleep, just to heal that girl on the inside of me. But I also know that's why I struggle so bad with my gambling addiction. Because
Before we get into that, I mean, my thing is, look at that one statement that has impacted her life, that she remembers. See, our children, that is the part that stands out, is what we say to them, how we talk to them, how we treat them. We can buy them all the things in the world, provide a roof over their head. Of course, they will appreciate that later on in life. But it is what you do and how you make them feel. They remember that. And so, just that part, she wanted to play with her dolls, and her mom looked at that as a negative and said, "Oh, you need to go and get a boyfriend." Okay, so then you're rushing your child to get a boyfriend. Then we know what comes with that. Okay. That could have prepared her to be fast. Like y'all say, sometimes people say, "Oh, you're just a fast tail girl," and all of that. Well, what prompted her to become so fast? See, sometimes it's not even the child, but the parent pushing certain things that we have to consider. And so by that, she started probably associating dolls and playing with that as a negative thing and not something that little kids should do. Okay. And then she associated her mom allegedly saying that, are you acting retarded and things like that. Like, that is horrible, when she was doing what she wanted to do as a child. And I'm glad that she acknowledges that and realizes that, because now, hey, she has her own money. She can go to the store, go and buy up Cabbage Patch dolls, any doll she wants, and she can sit there and play with the doll. She has a lot of children, okay? That could have had an impact on even how she raises her own children or how she views them. Because when you play with dolls, you pretend like you're the mom. And, so a lot of things will come about when you realize, is my inner child healed, whole, or do I have some unrevealed or unhealed trauma that is causing me to act the way that I act? Or did I feel like I'm missing out or did miss out on something? Some people, I mean, even if no more than going to a park and swing, that will bring back memories. That helps that inner child heal, if that's something that you love to do. Going to amusement parks, getting on roller coasters, those are things that could also help. So I'm glad that she acknowledges that's what I like to do, and this is why I stopped. And guess what? I'm going to go and do that to help heal that inner child. I love that part.
Because I feel like nobody loved me.
Let me rewind a little.
I'm gonna buy me some Barbies, and I'm just gonna sit and I'm gonna play with my Barbies on my balcony when all my kids go to sleep, just to heal that girl on the inside of me. But I also know that's why I struggle so bad with my gambling addiction, because I feel like nobody loved me besides my great grandma Merle. Nobody loved me.
And you'll be surprised that, um, oh my gosh, like the voids that we may feel with that unhealed trauma and things of that sort, sometimes it creates a void. And people will try to fill that void with a lot of things, not just gambling. In her case, is gambling. Some people go to alcohol, drugs, food, sex, I should say, shopping, just the overabundance of things to fill that void, something that you feel like I missed out on. And also, it could be so that you don't feel the pain of that thing, whatever you were going through. Am I doing this to stop from feeling the pain? Some people were possibly abused as a child. So as they get older, they're trying to make sure that they don't think about that part of their lives. There are a lot of people that are walking around with unhealed trauma that has not been addressed. So it's good that she is being reflective in this and really making connections, not only being transparent and acknowledging it, but also making a connection to something that she feels is an issue in her real life as an adult.
Growing up, my parents didn't love me. That's the way I feel. Remember, when we're looking at children, ages 0 to 8 is the most important. So for me, ages 0 to 8, I didn't have loving, present, affectionate, kind parents. My mama didn't start being nice to me until she got with my stepdaddy Lynch Mob. And that's why I love that man. I love that man so much. I'm so grateful for Lynch Mob, forever grateful for Lynch Mob. But for me, that part of my life was difficult. So if you study like childhood trauma and psychology, which I do, I I read, a lot of books on the subject. I talk about my own experience on the subject. I watch videos on the subject. I really want to be a childhood trauma therapist, but I don't want to go back to college. I fight with that thought often. I be like, girl, you could just go back to school and get your degree. By now, you could have had it. I've been on YouTube for going on 5 years. I could have had it by now. Then that's the other part of me like, girl, I am not going back to school. I'm not doing that. I don't want to go back to college. I'm not doing that. So I be battling that thought. Remember, though, the month of January is the month for me to stop being indecisive and just decide we either going to go back to college or we're not going to go back to college.
Yes. So I'm glad that she acknowledged that part as well. I hope she does go back to college. But I love that she gave some tips on some things that she's going to do, such as going to get her some dolls and just play with the dolls. There's nothing wrong with you if you love to play with something that may be out of the norm or do something that's out of the norm for an adult. Okay, I will go and grab some crayons in a minute and get a coloring book. I love to do that. It's therapeutic. I started doing one with my tablet last night. There's an app, and I have a stylus, and I can sit and color that way. And she's also going to journal. Journaling and writing out your thoughts and feelings is also therapeutic, and it helps get it out. Some people just need to get it out, whether it's on paper, whether you record something like you're talking to the person and you never have to send it, but you're at least getting it out. It is very healthy to do that, because what you don't, y'all, we have so many people, and we've even noticed, even on these YouTube streets, that we have a lot of people that have some unhealed trauma and are dealing with issues in their adult life that they did not deal with as a child or get healed from as a child. And so there are different things that trigger them to go back in time. And so they act out. So as adults, you're fighting to defend the young child in you. Or you're hurting, and it's because of the young child in you that's hurting, your inner child. And so we need to really think about that. Am I triggered by certain things that's taking me back to my past? Okay. Or if you had a wonderful childhood, you've turned out to be a productive citizen and healed, you can then give others advice and tips. And it helps to break cycles in our lives as well. When we have our own children, when you get healed. Okay. If it's something that you were dealing with from your inner child. So I'm glad that Peach did share that information with us, being transparent, because that is something that we just need to address from time to time. Allow your inner child to have some fun, okay? Do something that you didn't do in a long time, and it relaxes you. You'll feel better. It relaxes you. You're not crazy. In this case, when her mom said, why are you playing with dolls? Are you retarded and things like that? No, it doesn't mean that. And we have to watch the words that we use with children, okay? Because those things can build up strongholds in people's minds. I'll never forget when I was in middle school. And so I wore this yellow dress to school, y'all. That was the outfit of choice that day. So I had someone in my class, and when she saw me, she was like, "Ugh, yellow is not your color." And so I was looking at her like, "Well, I didn't ask you." But do y'all know after that day, I did not wear yellow for the longest. Okay. And I didn't realize the impact that it had on me in the colors that I chose to wear until I was teaching fifth grade one day. And we got into some type of conversation about something like this. And I said, you know what, y'all? I remember somebody tried to control me and put this stronghold up in my mind as a young child about the color yellow. And I told them the story because I said, don't let what people say to you stop you from being you, right? And I'll never forget, I said, I'm going to wear yellow tomorrow. Okay. I went out and bought me something yellow and I wore it on purpose because what you're not about to do is tell me something and it rules my life. Okay. That is a part of destroying the stronghold in your mind. Go opposite against what the devil has put in your mind. He will allow people to say things that stick with us, that they form this wall like, oh my gosh, they call me dumb. I must be dumb. Okay, so you're living your life. You don't want to ask questions. You don't want to come across a certain way because you have heard that you're dumb. No, don't allow that to stay with you. Do the opposite. Believe the opposite, that you are not dumb, but you are smart. You have to speak life over yourself. Okay. Make sure that you realize and really have a self reflection time so that you can realize what are your triggers. Okay. What are your triggers? What are you trying to fill the void with? What are you avoiding? Is it anything from your childhood that your inner child needs to heal from? These are questions that every once in a while we really want to sit and think about. It is so much that is happening right now. We have adults crying out for help, we have children crying out for help. And it's hard, especially if you have your own children, to help your children if you haven't helped the child within you. Y'all, that thing is deep. Okay. And that is one way of breaking generational curses is for us to be healed as adults. So when we do have children, that we can then recognize certain things and help our children and to be the best parents that we can be. And not just parents, but the best human that we can be. Okay. I'm just like, enough is enough. It is so much going on right now. And so I hope that Peach does get the help that she needs also with her inner child and the gambling addiction, so that the things that God's blessing her with, the channel and the income, that is just not going down the drain and she loses it. So hopefully, because she's recognized it, that she will move forward with the process of healing and making some changes. So I thank you all so much for joining on today. Make sure you think about that question. Get a journal, write it down. This is the beginning of a new year. This is a time to start. Okay, start and do something different. If you have not hit that like button, make sure you hit the like button. Also, subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell because you never know when I'm going to go live. Thank you. Have a blessed day. Bye bye.